You can't keep doing this to me, Konami. Yo, what's up, boys and girls? It's Swolelax here, and I'm back at it again with the video. Something a little bit different. Today, we're going to be talking about the 2018 Yu-Gi-Oh! Megatins. If you do not know, the past few years, Konami has been putting in different promos depending on which Megatin character you happen to get. The past few years have been based off of Yugi Muto and Seto Kaiba. However, this year, Konami decided to bless us with a Yusei Fudo and a Jaden Yuki Megatin. And recently, these Megatin promos have been revealed. This is not a drill. I was just complaining 2 days ago about how, we don't have the new Neo stat line yet. We don't know exactly what the card effect reads. We know the name of it, but we don't know exactly what it does. And now we finally have information on it. And it's about dang time the Megatin's released next week. So today you and I are going to be discussing a few things. The first being how good Nebula Neos really is. The second being the rest of the promos coming inside of the Jaden Yuki Megatin. And number three, we're going to be talking about how these cards are going to be impacting hero decks later down the line. Now to clarify something real quick, I'm not going to be talking about the Yusei Fudo Megatins. No real good reason, I just personally don't really care. Obviously, you guys know I'm a huge hero fanboy and a ginormous fan of the GX era. However, I wasn't really into the 5Ds era, and though Yusei Fudo is a cool anti-protagonist and had a really cool ace monster, I won't be talking about his promos inside of this video. If you guys want to know more about his promos, you can check the links in the description down below to get more information on those if you want to read up on them. Let's go ahead and jump right into the card of the hour, and that is Nebula Neos. And how good is Nebula Neos actually? So this card will be a secret rare inside of the tins, and it is a level 9 Earth Warrior fusion monster that is a fusion between Elemental HERO Neos, Neospacian Grand Mole, and Neospacian Dark Panther. The attack points of this beefy boy is a whopping 3,000 and a defense points of 2,500, so similar to the rest of the Neos fusions. The card reads, must be first special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. You do not use polymerization. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. Then negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of this turn. Once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck, and if you do, banish all cards on the field face down. Wow. So let's break down how this card works and how it's supposed to be implemented into the current Neospacian strategy. First thing is that drawing effect that you draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. This card will potentially refill your hand if your opponent sets up for a larger board, and this could potentially be really good depending on which deck you're playing against. However, there will have to be certain things you take into account before summoning this card in the form of how many negates they have on the field, how they are able to stop this card from getting on the board, but if they don't necessarily have a good answer to that, or if they let you run your plays free, then you have the potential of drawing quite a bit of resources. This is interesting to note that it's dependent on your opponent as well. And though I don't necessarily agree with the reactive style of this card, I am interested in the fact that they are almost forcing you to either play second or make smart plays in terms of you going first. Right after that, then you also have a negation. The important thing to note about this negation is that it is a non-targeting negation. That is actually pretty interesting because I initially figured it was going to be something along the lines of Effect Violet, where you have to target a monster on the board and negate its effect. Sure, you are negating its effect either way, but for cards that can't say that cannot be targeted, or cards like Nightmare Goblin, which state that co-link monsters cannot be targeted, this is actually a pretty good deal. And lastly, we have that beautiful banishing effect. The triple Neos fusions have always had pretty great effects in terms of when they get shuffled back into the deck. For example, you have Magma Neos, which sends all cards back to the hand, Storm Neos, which shuffles them all back into the deck, which is arguably the best one, and now you have Nebula Neos, which banishes them face down. Banishing the cards itself is insane, but essentially denying access from those cards is something that's insane if you are able to resolve that effect. The important thing is if you're able to resolve the effect. So not only do you have to get this card on the field, you also have to make sure that your opponent does not have anything to stop you from banishing their cards. But I think that overall this card is a solid inclusion and actually an incredible card for the Neospacian archetype. The effect negation and the resource gaining of it is really good, but add that on the fact that it also banishes cards, it's over. I could be overhyping this card just a little bit. The huge, enormous, glaring drawback of this card is that it's Neospacians. But we'll just have to see how that works out. The next card on our list is going to be Solid Soldier, aka Solid Man as it's known in the OCG. Elemental HERO Solid Soldier is a level 4 Earth Warrior effect monster with 1,300 attack and 1,100 defense. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower hero monster from your hand. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard by a spell effect, you can target one hero monster in your graveyard except for Elemental HERO Solid Soldier and special summon that card in defense position. You can only use this effect of Elemental HERO Solid Soldier once per turn. A while back, the news broke that this was going to be dropping in the OCG as a V-Jump promo, which initially made people suspicious of when this card is going to be out in the TCG. But I think it makes complete and total sense this card would be coming out in the 2018 Megatins, considering the amount of hero support and the obvious protagonist that you have on the tin. First things first, Solid Soldier is kind of an awkward name. Personally, I liked it better as Solid Man, but Solid Soldier isn't the worst thing in the world. But Solid Man was just so solid. Man. More importantly, it is going to now act as the Goblindberg or the Tin Goldfish of the deck. This card is essentially a 1-card rank 4, a potential Dark Law, and so many other combos you can make. I firmly believe that the Neteria Beast Turbo combo is going to be an extremely popular variant of heroes. This card being level 4 and being a hero monster, you can search it with cards like Emergency Call, so you don't have to necessarily rely on drawing it like Goblindberg. And this card can also be transitioned into the Earthmass hero. The secondary effect where you can special summon a hero from the graveyard is actually incredible, especially when you think of cards like Shadow Mist. And from there you can do all sorts of shenanigans, so you can obviously see the utility and the obvious 3 of this card is going to be. I'm extremely excited to see this card come out in the TCG, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. The next card we're going to be talking about is Keeper of the Dragon Magic. This card is a level 4 Dark Dragon effect monster with 1800 attack and 1300 defense. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can discard 1 card and add 1 polymerization normal spell card or fusion normal spell card from your deck to your hand. You can reveal 1 fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon 1 of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on that monster from your graveyard in face-down defense position. You can only use each effect of Keeper of the Dragon Magic once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate either of this card's effects. This card I was actually super curious about, but for one specific reason. This card essentially replaces the Predaplant engine in most of the Evil Hero or Dark Hero decks. Yes, that is a very niche thing to say. In addition to that, if you're playing the better version of heroes, aka the Omni Hero, this card's actually pretty sweet as a polymerization searcher. In addition to that, it can also fuse into Escurideo, and I don't necessarily think this card's going to be super great. However, I do think it is a nice alternative to the Predaplant engine in certain decks that do run it. And finally, the last card I want to talk about is Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Mud Dragon of the Swamp is a level 4 water worm fusion effect monster. Oh my god. With 1900 attack and 1600 defense. It requires 2 monsters with the same attribute but different types. This card reads your opponent cannot target this card or monsters on the field with the same attribute as this card with card effects. Once per turn, quickie, you can declare 1 attribute. This card becomes that attribute until the end of this turn. So effectively, this card cannot be targeted. In addition to that, it is also an instant fusion target. The first one that came to my mind is a substitution for Elder Entity Norton. Now granted, there is no true substitution for such a powerful card, but back pre-links, hero decks could churn out Bahamut Shark, Totally Awesome, and a Dark Law, no problem. A very popular way to do that is instant fusion out for Elder Entity Norton. Now, this card is essentially a water level 4 monster when it's out in the field. However, if you needed to change its attribute to help fit other fusions, you also could do that as well, which is the second notable thing about it that I personally like. Let's say you have a hero monster in hand and you have the Mud Dragon out in the field. Well, if you want to go the classic route, then you can go absolute 0 by keeping it water. You can change it to fire to go into Nova. You can go into Gaia by making it Earth. And if you made it light, you can go into the Shining. I actually like this card quite a bit. It's interesting to me, and personally, I think it'll be an interesting tech inside of any type of hero deck or any type of deck that requires attribute shifting. Personally, I don't think this card's gonna be used outside of an instant fusion fodder, but who knows? Anyways, that's going to be my analysis, my overview, and my thoughts on the new Megaton promos. Like I said, I'm probably not gonna be covering the Yusei Fudo Megaton promos, but if you want to check the links in the description to get some information about that, then feel free. While you're down there, please tell me what you guys think of these promos. Are you guys fans of heroes? Are you guys excited for Nebula Neos? What about Swamp Dragon? Or even the Yusei Fudo Megaton promos if you guys want to discuss that? How do you guys feel about Solid Soldier finally coming to the TCG? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys like the video, make sure to leave it a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I got a lot more videos coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that if you want to. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace out.